It is 6 a.m. and you're watching Denver7 News. Teachers speak out on restarting school.
I think it's crazy to say we have to go back to school because it's a pandemic.
And now more districts are taking action on when and how kids will return.
As COVID-19 cases steadily rise in Colorado, Denver's mayor hits the pause button.
And I believe pausing these variances, or at least requests to the state at this point in time, gives us an opportunity to truly just focus on what we have in front of us and try to manage it and to reverse the trends.
Plus, helping more families in need. We're live at Aurora's expanded food pantry.
And the Broncos are planning to welcome some fans back to Mile High this season.
I'm just ready for the Broncos to win.
We could all use some Broncos wins right now. Good Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Molly Hendrickson.
And I'm Brian Sanders, and we want to get right out to meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo with our Denver7 forecast. We will be back into the 90s today. Chance of storms, although you'd never know it by looking at the sunrise.
I know, it's funny how it happens here, right? Beautiful in the morning and then some building clouds in the afternoon. And this will be one of the first spots where we see that up in Loveland. But speaking of Broncos, it's a bit of a Broncos sunrise this morning. We've got a gorgeous start, bright though, for that eastbound drive this morning. And temperatures that are going to start off in the 60s but end up in the 90s. So our two-day break from the 90s, it is over. Denver 93 today, Sterling 94. Some near triple-digit heats at the southeast. In the mountains, you're going to find primarily 80s today, so pretty warm. Here's a look at your backyard forecast. Now at about 3 o'clock, again, we're going to see a chance for a few storms, and those may linger, it looks like, through early evening. We'll be in the 90s and then drop down into the upper 80s right around dinner time. We'll talk more about the risk of severe weather and the timing of some of our storms, not only today, but through the weekend coming up in just a few minutes. Eric?
Lisa, it looks like we're getting some more information on that accident now on I-225 southbound, just south of I-70. It looks like it's a car fire closer to Colfax. Crews have been called out to that. No cameras are working in this area to show you. The closest one I could find is 225 and 6th Avenue. As the sun comes up this morning, you can see traffic's flowing, but you can't see any smoke from this camera. Of course, 6th Avenue a little bit further to the south from Colfax, where that car fire was reported. Let's go back to the maps. No real issues elsewhere, which is good. North side of town looks nice. You've got a good drive on that drive from south on I-25 from Northwest Parkway to Colfax. It also looks good on the west side of town.
A big part of our state's rebound amid the pandemic is getting kids back to school. However, how we do that is proving to be an ever-changing process. Denver7's Nicole Brady is live at West High School in Denver this morning. And Nicole, DPS is thinking about a delayed start, even a phased-in process to get kids back in the classroom.
Phased in, meaning starting the school year online and then gradually returning to the classroom. And this is a real possibility now as we see more districts around the country scrapping their plans for in-person learning altogether and deciding to stay online. In an open letter, Superintendent Susana Cordova sent to the DPS community, she said they're considering a staggered start schedule where schools would all begin virtually and phase in in-person attendance. But a petition started by a parent in DPS is calling for delaying the reopening of schools until the district has gone 14 days without new COVID-19 cases. As for how school will work whenever it starts, our parent partners at the Denver Post obtained a plan that shows a dozen different quarantine options if there's a case at a school, and it specifies that an entire school would shut down if there are more than 4 cases in that school. They're also looking at keeping kids in cohort groups of no more than 30, also saying that they'll not give out F grades this year, just incompletes that kids could make up if they needed to. So here's what we know about the delayed start right now that DPS and other districts are looking at. So DPS right now considering delaying the start of school till August 24th. Aurora and Douglas counties, meanwhile, have both pushed back their start dates by a week each, August 18th and 17th, respectively. But these delays, these staggered plans, not giving parents a lot of confidence here in what school will look like. We'll talk to those parents and hear from them coming up at 6:30. For now, we're live at West High School. Nicole Brady, Denver7.
Yeah, I think every family is in a different situation right now. Thank you, Nicole. This afternoon, Jeffco's school superintendent will be joined by 2 county health officials to answer questions about the upcoming school year. You can watch that live at 4 on the Jeffco Public Schools Facebook page. The district will cover topics like steps to address positive COVID cases in schools, cleaning, social distancing and mask protocol, and what the school day would look like for your kids.
An update on the latest case count in Colorado. Another 469 people tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. That's up 25 from Tuesday's number. 7 more people have died. The rate of infection of young kids remains low in Colorado. Elementary school kids up to age 9 have a positive rate of close to 3%. For kids ages 10 to 19, that rate doubles to 6%. For both groups, the death rate is less than 0.1%. Teachers are cautious about how safe returning to school will be. 400 people, many of them teachers, took part in a town hall hosted by the Denver Classroom Teachers Association last night. A live poll during the meeting ranked social distancing, mask use, and testing as the biggest concerns. One DPS teacher who did not want to be identified says she fears for her life. The Classroom Teachers Association plans to present a guideline of proposals created by teachers to school districts soon.
Denver Mayor Michael Hancock has hit the pause button on the city's reopening plans. He will stop approving new variances from businesses wanting to reopen, citing the recent rise in cases. In Denver, the 7-day running average for case rates has increased from about 54 cases just 2 weeks ago to about 68 cases today. The city is seeing a positivity rate of around 4 to 5%. That rate was just 2.7% in June. Businesses that already had their variants approved can reopen with those changes.
Today, Aurora's Public Safety Committee will announce potential members of the team conducting an independent investigation into the death of Elijah McClain. Details of what will be included in the probe will also be discussed. A draft of the plan says they'll look at a timeline of what happened, policies for police and fire rescue, and the use of ketamine, the tranquilizer that was given to McClain during his arrest. The investigative team will be led by a civil rights lawyer out of Washington, D.C. Neighbors in Arvada risked their own lives to save a little girl in a fire. We brought you this as breaking news yesterday morning at 6. That neighbor walks us through what happened.
I told my daughter to call the 911, and as she was doing that, I ran back in and got some clothes on. I ran across the street. Me and my neighbor Jason down here, we ran across the street, kicked the door in, and broke the window out of the house, trying to retrieve the occupants inside. We got the little girl out, and she's like 7 or 8 years old, and I mean, she was coughing up black soot out of her, mouth and everything, and we tried to get her dad after we got her out.
Heroic actions by those neighbors. Sadly, 2 people died in the fire. 3 others were rescued. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Fire crews in Jefferson County have the Elephant Butte fire 75% contained near Evergreen. Teams will stop fighting the fire from the air, but mop-up operations will continue on the ground. Alderfer Three Sisters Park will stay closed for now, but it could reopen sometime this weekend. Jeffco deputies don't expect to release much more information until a cause of that fire is determined.
Broncos fans will be allowed into Empower Field at Mile High this upcoming football season, but there are restrictions in place. Season ticket holders will have priority. They'll have the option to attend games or get a refund or credit for next season. There's also an opportunity to buy single game tickets even if a refund is requested. People would be selected for seats by how long they've held season tickets. The team is still deciding how many fans will be allowed. There is no decision yet if tickets will be made available for the general public. Masks and social distancing will be enforced.